How you doing, guys? Golden back. I'm gonna be real quick about this. The next fanfiction I'm reading is super depressing, and I recommend not watching it if you have any problems. I guess I could say. I don't know what to say. But if it's dark and it's really sad. But it's super good. So I'm going to be reading it to you guys. I've read through the whole thing, so let's not be so sad. Let's start up the video then.
Secrets we're keeping could be used to light the dark, but we anti-gravity lock down humanity, lightning insanity striking inside me. Whoa, whoa, it's the heartbeat of mystery. Whoa, whoa, lightning inside me.
If we were really friends, you won't come back. You say to the lifeless corpse impaled with your own bone spear. It's only after you shoot down the soul, shattering it into a dozen pieces, do you dismiss your weapons. The bones vanish into the floor and the body ungracefully falls into the golden tiles. Dark, sticky blood pooling out of the wounds you inflicted. It's not time to celebrate yet. You pull up your sleeve and look at your wristwatch and begin tracking the time. 60 seconds. This critical period would determine the fate of the timeline. There's always a 95% chance of a reload in the first 60 seconds. 30 seconds pass. How many times have you done this already? Too many to count and too many to remember, that's for sure. Vainly hoping the kid would decide to reset instead of reload, fighting off the despair every time your watch would stop, backtracking however long the battle lasted, and then resuming ticking forward as the kid yet again came marching up the hall, fresh for a new fight. If it wasn't for the fact your stamina was also refunded to you each time, this endless ordeal would have been akin to torture. 60 seconds pass and the minute hand on your watch ticks forward 6 degrees. You breathe a sigh of relief. A reset was more probable than a reload at this point. Now it was just a matter of when. Unfortunately, the discussion wasn't up for you. But data taken from monitoring the space-time continuum tells you that it would occur at some point within half a day. You stare at the child's body for a long time, more or less observing than not really thinking of anything particular. The blood has stopped running and started to congeal. It stinks of iron and is probably going to stain the floor. Their rusty knife rests on the ground a few centimeters away from one of the cold, stiff, dust-covered hands, and you kick it away in disgust. Well, even if it's particularly pointless with a reset on the way, you decide Asgore should know what just transpired in his hallway and head into the garden.
Dad! Asgore, please! You have to listen to me!
You hear a terrified voice beg.
Monster's coming and they're going to murder you! They've already murdered everybody else! Please, you gotta run!
My strange little flower, why would I run away from one of my subjects? I am sure whatever this monster is troubling you with, we can resolve without violence.
No! They're not that kind of monster! They're...
Your shadow falls across the little plant and Flowey shrieks in panic.
They're here!
He screams in terror and retreats beneath the sea of petals. Asgore whips around in alarm, only to find you standing by his side.
Hey, are you the monster the talking flower is trying to warn me about?
Asgore asks in confusion.
Nah, I came to tell you that I took care of them. There's no need of fear anymore. They aren't coming back and everyone's safe again.
For the time being, you think to yourself, but don't say.
I'm sorry, but I still am a little confused. Can you please elaborate on what just happened?
A human fell into the underground, hell-bent on turning us into dust bunnies, and I just finished putting it to a stop.
Wait, are you saying you killed the human?
Flowey reappears in between you two.
More or less.
You shrug. Flowey's usually very emotive face is blank, and you can't read what's going on in his thoughts. But before you can think about it, the flower once again vanishes into the flower bed without a trace.
Well, thank you, Sans.
The king kneels to you and places one giant furry hand on your shoulder.
You've done a great service to our people today. I will make sure your heroism is not forgotten.
You stiffen a laugh. Oh, the irony! If only they knew this was all going to be reset, and along with their memories. Not forgotten, my coxsacks, you think? Still, you force a smile and try to appear grateful.
Thanks, sir, but it really is no big deal.
The human. They got my brother, and I couldn't bear the thought of them hurting anyone else. I was just doing the right thing. I'd rather there not be a lot of fanfare over it. I just want to be alone for a while.
I understand, son.
Asgore says, sympathy in his eyes.
You do what you must. Thanks, sir.
You turn and leave the garden. You're still too tired to jump through time and space, so you travel home the scenic way. Back in the Judgment Hall, you're met up with a strange sight. Flowey's inspecting the kid's body, his face still devoid of emotion. If this were any other timeline, you wouldn't have wasted an opportunity like this to obliterate the weed after knowing how he tried to manipulate your brother in the past. But Papyrus is gone for the moment. With a reset bound to happen at any given second, you can't imagine any lasting satisfaction to gain from such pointless violence. Flowey notices you and winces. He draws away from the body, but keeping his eyes firmly on you. Apparently, he remembers some timeline where you weren't so indifferent to his presence.
I don't understand. Why didn't they reload? What did you do differently?
Don't know.
You shrug, insistent on keeping your line of sight at the end of the hall and not on the body or flower.
We're more likely you're going to have a reset now, so I don't really stress about the details.
A reset? When?
The flower asks, snaking his way down the corridor behind you, but always at a safe distance.
Can't say. Sometimes within the next 12 hours at most. That's the next critical time frame.
Oh, and what if they don't?
Don't what?
Reset or reload? What will happen to us next?
You tell me. If I've been in a timeline like this already, then I don't remember. Not that it matters much. Once the reset happens, oh, this will feel like nothing more than a bad dream. In fact, there's a good chance that the reset will happen in our sleep and we'll be none the wiser.
You exit the room without as much as a second glance. The flower does not follow, but you can still feel its anxious eyes on your skull as you make your way out. You decide you needed to go to Grillby's. There had been so many monsters murdered. Everything is too quiet and still. Even though you know they're all going to come back, you can't help but grieve for each pile of dust you spy on along your way. And even after the reset, there's no telling if the kid would go on this route again. No, it wasn't even a matter if, it was a matter when. When would the kid go on another killing spree? When would they be finally satisfied of striking everybody down? How many more times would you have to watch your friends die every time they decided they wanted to have fun? God, you are so tired. The bar is still empty when you get back, but you know where Grillby is hiding. You walk over to the fire door and tap a secret code with your pointer finger's second knuckle. A few seconds pass before the bottom corner of the doors ignite and twin flames race up the side and conjoin at the top before burning out. A moment later, the door slides open and Grillby stands before you.
Sans, I thought I told you to tap to the tune of Ring of Fire, not Disco Inferno.
Sorry, forgot.
So, I take it the threat is no more?
You nod and take a seat in the nearest stool.
So, what do you have?
The strongest thing you got.
Grillby slides a bottle and you take a swig. How many times do I have to keep doing this, you think? And then you proceed to drink your fatigue and sorrow away. I lied. You don't remember how much you drank, nor do you remember how you got home. You figured it was probably the reset that made you wind up back in bed, as you're not the type to imbibe until you're blackout. God, your head is killing you. Hangers normally don't last through time travel. Maybe you drank so much you became intoxicated across timelines. Blah. It hurts too much to think straight. So you stop trying to figure out how you got this mysterious headache and try to remember where you last saw the aspirin. With blurry eyes, you look at the bedside clock. It's past noon. That's odd. Why didn't Papyrus wake you up? He usually urges you out of bed no later than 5 a.m. And if he wasn't actively dragging you out from underneath the covers, the smell of spaghetti on fire and threatening to burn down the house would have you on your feet in an instant. You roll out of bed, slide your feet into your slippers, pull out your jacket over your arms, and shamble over to the door.
Hey bro, what gives?
You yawn.
You never let me sleep this late. You not feeling well or something?
You twist the knob and peek inside. That's strange. He's not in his room. And now that you think about it, you don't smell burning noodles either.
Pap?
You call down to the stairs, but there's no reply. An uneasy feeling begins to spread through your bones. Something about this scenario is off. No. Something about this scenario is wrong. No need to panic, you think to yourself. Maybe he's out training with Undying already.
Papyrus, you home?
You say out loud again as you enter the kitchen, but you're only answered with silence. Carefully, you scan the room, trying to figure out what feels so out of place. When your eyes fall on the calendar, that's funny. Why is today's date already crossed off? If you had a heart, it would have stopped beating in that instant.
Oh no.
You breathe before rushing to the front door. You throw it open and make a mad scramble for the daily newspaper. With trembling hands, you look at the date. It reads Wednesday the 16th. The bold text on the front page grabs your eyes. The headline reads, "Human Menace Brought to Justice. Underground Safe Once More."
No. No. No, 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 no.
Your entire body shakes in horror as you finally understand what's going on. It's tomorrow. The critical period has passed, but the kid didn't come back. The timeline had not been reset.